Hey, this is Danny from Scare Talk. Before we get into all the horror greatness, I gotta let you know about Anchor. Anchor is the host site that we use to record our podcast. Anchor will upload your podcast to Apple and Spotify and many other listening platforms. Anchor is completely free, and you can download the app or go to the website, anchor.fm, and you can record straight on there. There's also some cool editing tools that you can use. Did I mention that it's free? Yeah, so if you want to make a podcast, Anchor is the way to go. Go check it out. Now, for the spooky stuff.
Welcome to Scare Talk, and welcome to the review series of the franchise Saw.
Oh, yeah. This is Scare Talk. I am Danny, and I'm here with Jolly Rancher Joel.
Hey guys, what's up? Oh man, I think you've called me Jolly before, but not Jolly Rancher.
Not Jolly Rancher, yeah. And the jailer, Joey.
Hey,
Jailer Joey.
Jailer Joey. Yeah. What's up, you guys?
Jail Dog Joey.
Yes. All right, so the time has come. We have reviewed all of the Saw movies, including Spiral. So now, that only can mean one thing. Joel, what does it mean?
It's time for our ranking list. The ranking list.
Here we go. All right. So, we have 9 films to rank. And we'll start at number 9. Joey, what is your number 9?
I'm pretty sure we have all the same number 9, and that is Saw 5.
Saw 5.
It sucks. It's very bad. I don't think it has any twist. Definitely
No, it
the
doesn't.
worst. What do you have, Joel?
Joel,
So funny that you
9.
say that, because mine is also Saw 5.
Wow, that's shocking.
It is bad. The fact that you guessed that would probably be our number 9 speaks for the quality of that movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Out of 9 movies, you're like, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have the same number 9.
Yeah.
It was bad. There was no John Kramer at all in that movie.
Yeah.
Not even any flashback moments. It was about 2 characters that I could care less about, or I couldn't care less
chasing
about.
each other.
Yeah, we're chasing each other down, and it was bad. And even I could have forgiven that if the other characters weren't so stupid too. Because the ones that were in that trap, like, you find out at the very end that if they had all just worked together, they could have all lived through this entire thing. But instead, they just decided to kill each other. Like, okay, that's the first thing you go to is just I'm just gonna last man standing. Like, no, that's not how people operate normally.
and there was no connection to the storyline. It was like that whole group thing had nothing to do with anything else.
Yeah.
It was like some apartment fire or house fire. It's like, what does this have to do with anything?
I know. It was all over the place. I think of all of the movies that we've reviewed, that's been my favorite because we just tore that one apart. Pretty much.
All right. Well, my number 9 is Saw 5.
Yes. I was hoping you weren't going to ruin it.
I know. No, the anticipation.
I know. It was a close call. All right, Joey, what is your number 8?
My number 8 is Saw 3D.
Oh, Saw 7, the final chapter.
I thought it just looked very low budget. like it should have been straight to the Sci-Fi Channel. It just wasn't. The look of it was bad. I just didn't really like the whole Joel Tuck kind of deal and stuff. It just looked weird, and I hate 3D movies. So, bingo.
I'm so glad that died out.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's not a thing anymore.
probably with that movie, probably.
It was around then, I
Single
think.
handed.
Yeah.
It
for
was,
sure.
yeah. It was just a fad going on that lasted entirely longer than it should have.
Yeah.
The
Joel,
whole
watch your
3D
language.
fad.
Joel, what is your number 8?
So my number 8 and number 7 could flip-flop, actually. But with what I decided on this time, I had to go with Jigsaw.
Okay.
I was expecting something a little bit more than what we got with Jigsaw. Like it had been what, 5 years since we got a Saw movie, which doesn't sound like a long time, but
I think it was 7 years.
when it gets released every single year.
It was 7.
Was it 7 years?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it was like 2010 and then it was 2017, I think, is between Saw 3D and Jigsaw. You could have come up with a really cool storyline in that amount of time.
Yeah.
And what we got was more of the same that we've gotten throughout Saws 1 through 7 at this point.
Yeah.
And it didn't tell a new story. It just told the same story a different way.
With, just different people.
With, different people, different kills, which some of the kills were, and I think I tore this one apart too, because I wrote some notes down as the movie was going.
Right.
And I think I tore that movie apart as well.
Yeah. No, it was, you definitely made some good points with how would he know that so-and-so was going to get that tape? And how would he know that they were going to go through this, not an exit? Because if they never did, then everybody would be dead. And,
and it's not that someone went through that exit. It's the person
it had to be that guy
predicted was going to do it, because he mentions his name on the tape, the pre-recorded tape. And it's like, okay, well, no, like there's 5 or 6 people involved in this. How did you know that one person was going to be the one to it? The movie was a mess. I did like the twist at the end, but that's about it.
All right, well, my number 8 is Saw, the final chapter, 3D 7.
Man,
What a cop.
we almost had the exact same 9 and 8.
Well, if it wasn't for you, Joel.
Good job, Joel.
Yeah, I know.
I kind of like the 3D aspect, especially not watching it in 3D. It made it dumb, but it was entertaining to me. But the movie itself was not good. Just not good. I mean, Hoffman, not good. 5 and 7, they're at the bottom of the barrel mostly to me because of the writing, but then also Hoffman, he's just not good. So
he's
horrible.
He's a bad character.
Horrible to go from Jigsaw to him. Like, that's just bad.
I know.
All right,
I completely agree.
Joey, what is your number 7?
My number 7 is Jigsaw. Pretty much exactly what Joel said. It just, except for the end, like I didn't really care about like the doctor or whatever he was. Like I'm like, how does this have anything to do with anything? They just like a random, you know what I mean? And just like it was another disciple of his. I was like, man, it's like it was so played out.
Another protege.
Protege and stuff, and it was pretty weak. Actually, I actually saw this for the first time a few days ago.
Oh wow! So it's very fresh in your mind.
It's very fresh. Never saw the movie theater for whatever reason. It kind of went on the back burner and stuff. So I saw it a couple days ago. Not very impressed. At all. So,
all right, Joel, what is your number 7?
My number 7 is Saw 3D, the final chapter.
Nice.
Like I was saying, this could have gone back and forth between 7 and 8, and
Yeah.
they're equally bad. This one, because it does have one of, if not my favorite trap in the entire franchise, which is the last trap where his wife gets burned alive.
Yeah.
That was intense. That was, we've seen some really intense traps, but for some reason, for me, that was probably the worst of all of them. And that one earned a spot, earned an extra point in my book that put it above Jigsaw. The twist, I remember thinking the first time I saw it, I was actually surprised. I was shocked by the twist ending with the doctor. But looking back at it, it's so obvious that he was involved. Like his first appearance in Saw 3D from Saw 1, he's so like sinister. He's sitting in the darkness clapping like at this at this like little group that's going on, and it's like, okay, well, you're kind of scary. So, and we haven't seen you in like 6 movies, so you're definitely going to have a bigger part in this movie.
What's that actor's name?
Cary Elwes. He's been in a lot of stuff. He is usually a decent actor.
No, I don't think he is.
I don't think he is. But you love him, Joel.
I don't think he's bad, but he's not good in these movies. Cary Elwes. He's the Princess Bride, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, folks.
That was a classic.
All right.
He just doesn't do horror movies very well.
My number 7 is Jigsaw.
Man.
So we all have the same bottom 3.
The same bottom 3.
Yeah, I think it'll get a little different going forward.
It's that middle part, because I think we'll probably have the same top 3, at least for the most part.
We'll see.
It's just that middle section.
All right. Joey, what is your number 6?
My number 6. It's only fitting that number 6 would be Saw 6.
Oh. All right.
Nice.
I feel like there's a big difference between the bottom 3 and the rest of them.
Yeah.
The bottom 3 are very distinct. Saw 6, honestly, could be anywhere from 4 to 6 for me.
Okay.
I love Jigsaw, so I want to see him more in it. So my list kind of coincides with that. But I didn't think it was a bad movie whatsoever.
Okay. Cool. And Joel, what is your number 6?
My number 6 is also Saw 6.
Right.
I enjoy this movie. I mean, for being the 6th movie in a horror franchise, it's not a bad movie.
Yeah.
And I do like the whole health insurance angle to it as well. From going from Saw 5, which was the absolute worst, to Saw 6, having Jigsaw come back, John Kramer come back in this one.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened with Saw 5 that he couldn't make an appearance. I mean, I think he did, but it wasn't
kind of.
Yeah, he has probably like 5 minutes total of airtime, but screen time. But for this one, it's like the audience knew, or they knew that the audience wanted to see more of John Kramer.
Yeah. And
they wanted more of his story. So that's what happened with Saw 6. It's just like, all right, well, Saw 5 was a complete flop. Nobody liked it. And it's mostly, well, partly, I guess, because John Kramer wasn't in it. It's just everyone else was just horrible in Saw 5. But having him come back in Saw 6, with more backstory, I liked. I do like his backstory. I don't mind not having a backstory for him, but if we're gonna have one, I'm also on board with that as well.
Yeah,
because like the first 3, there's like no backstory whatsoever for John Kramer.
Yeah, I mean, there's his whole cancer thing and
he's a mysterious character, which I do like.
Yeah,
but then we get into Saw 4 through the rest of them, and it's like, okay, well, he's not really a mysterious character anymore.
Right.
But he still has at least a semi-interesting story to tell.
Right.
Probably not the greatest story. I mean, it's whatever, but it's enjoyable enough to keep the franchise alive. And yeah, so I enjoyed that one. So that would be my number 6.
All right. My number 6 is Saw 3.
Oh,
Wow, that's way down there.
pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember seeing this one and being pretty disappointed after Saw 2 going into this.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of Amanda. Didn't really care about the dude who was going through all the rooms, who had his kid was killed by a drunk driver.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really care about him. And they killed off one of the original detectives, like, super fast at the beginning of the movie. And a lot of, like, the editing and the cutscenes and all that, it was just too much. And the twist I didn't really like, and so yeah, I just remember Saw 3. While it might be a better movie than some of the other ones, it has a bad taste. Left a bad taste in my mouth because of how disappointed I was after the first 2. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you hadn't liked Saw 2, Saw 3 would probably be higher on your list.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Because it's not a bad movie. It's just it's different from the other 2,
right?
At this point in the franchise,
it's the beginning of the downfall of the series, and it's just unforgivable. So
unforgivable,
especially when it's like the trilogy. The third one you have to do it good. But they didn't. Not in my opinion. The third one is one that the bottom 4 I probably would never watch again, but the rest of them I'd probably watch. So
okay.
All right, Joey, what is your number 5?
My number 5 is Spiral.
Oh,
yes.
All right.
If you haven't checked it out yet, check out the last podcast. We do a little discussion about Spiral, so I'll refer to that. But it's right in the middle of the pack.
Okay.
Yeah, so right smack in the middle. 74%? So, yeah, 74%. So that's pretty appropriate. So, yeah.
Okay. I like it. All right, Joel, what is your number 5?
My number 5 is going to be Saw 4.
All right.
I enjoyed this movie. Like, from 5 down, I do enjoy the movies on here. Wait, hold on. From 6 down, because Saw 6 is my number 6. 6 down, or 6 up, I guess, depending on how you're looking at it, are decent to good movies. A lot of people hated on Saw 4 because just like your opinion on Saw 3, a lot of opinions on Saw 4 is that was the start of the downfall of the Saw franchise.
Yeah.
And I can't disagree with that, but at the same time, that's the one that we start getting more information on John Kramer.
Right.
We found out some information that we didn't know. Do we find out about the pregnancy in that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. And which kind of opened the floodgates to how he became the way he became.
Right.
And, we don't find out, I don't think, about the car accident in that one, but, we find out little bits and pieces, and it's starting with Saw 4.
Yeah.
And his intentions...
Once you get there, once you get to 4, you kind of have to start doing more. You kind of have to add more to the story. You can't just keep doing the same thing. So.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I liked the traps in that one. I like that, the detective is going around trying to save everybody and doing a horrible job at it. But but yeah, so was it Saw 4 that we got the trap that twisted that one guy's limbs all the way around?
Oh,
I think it was
The guy
starting
on
with
the
like his
bed?
feet.
no, that was Saw 3.
What was it, Saw 3? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool trap.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was Saw 4. But yeah, so it's right in the middle for me. It's middle of the road. It's not bad, but it's not like great either. It's not one of the better ones.
Okay. So my number 5 is also Saw 4.
Nice.
This one I could watch again. I don't like the whole lesson that Jigsaw is trying to teach. I thought that was pretty lame. But it's a fun movie though. The traps are really cool. I like the one where the guy's on the bed getting his limbs ripped off, and he's trying to like jab the like spike into his eyes, and that one's rough.
Yeah, it is.
But 4 is fun. I will give it that, and it does give us a little more about John, like you were saying. So, I dig it.
Yeah.
All right, Joey, what is your number 4?
Number 4 is Saw 3.
All right.
When I first saw this movie when it came out in the theater, I thought it was the best movie ever. But then when I rewatched it recently, like it was like 95% good, but the ending just kind of was lacking. But I still have to move it ahead of all the rest of the films. Yeah, I mean, I like the surprise where you find out that like they're married and stuff. I think that was still really cool. And a lot of suspense. Yeah, it's my number 4.
Okay. Joel, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is going to be Spiral.
All right.
I kind of, I don't want to say tore this movie apart in my review, but I didn't have the nicest things to say about it. But it's also the fact that I ranked it as a 73, and it's still in the top 4 of my Saw franchise rankings. Kind of tells you the quality of some of the other movies behind it. This is not the best franchise in the world, which is why it's able to make it in my top 4. But it wasn't a bad movie either. It was definitely different. You could definitely tell there was a higher budget put into this movie.
Yeah. It did feel bigger.
Yeah. And which is different from all the other movies that we've gotten so far.
Yeah.
Which I liked. It's a fun movie, and I had fun with it. Like, it's definitely not my favorite, but it could have been worse too. So
right.
I'm gonna say that.
Okay. Well, my number 4 is Saw 6.
Man,
I really like Saw 6. I thought, John was good in it. You get a little more about his story with the insurance company. I like the traps in that, even though I don't at the same time. And, again, like Saw 4, it's fun. It's a fun movie, entertaining. Once you get past 3, 3 really lowered my expectations for the rest of the franchise. So, at that point, I'm not looking necessarily for this big reveal or this big twist at the end, because 3 kind of ruined it with that. So,
yeah.
So I'm looking for, good traps, good kills, and just John. So that's what 6 gave me, and that's why it's number 4. Joey, what is your number 3?
Oh man,
Number
top 3.
Ooh, top 3. Number 3 is Saw 4.
All right.
I really liked the culmination of all the storylines coming together at the end.
Yeah.
I like the opening scene, the autopsy. I like the closing scene, the autopsy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought this movie was really good. It kind of ties up some of the storylines of like from Saw 3's like lack of an ending.
Right.
We have that ending for this one. So that's why I put it number 3.
Okay. Joel, what is your number 3?
My number 3 is going to be Saw 3.
Okay.
I haven't said this one yet.
That is disrespectful.
Maybe. It's not the best in the series, but as far as a trilogy goes, I think it wraps up if it had stopped at Saw 3,
yeah,
in my opinion, it would have wrapped up the franchise, like the trilogy, pretty well.
Yeah, you didn't need to go any further, especially since Jigsaw is dead after 3.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't really care about the twist ending, but that much. So as far as a movie goes in the series, like I said, if it wasn't part 3 in the franchise, it probably would have been lower. But because it felt like part of a trilogy, it's in my top 3. I enjoyed it for what it was. If this movie hadn't made any money, it would have stopped at Saw 3 and would have been, honestly, I kind of wish it didn't make any money because it wrapped up the story pretty nicely and like a little bow from the start to finish. Because I mean, you get Jigsaw and Amanda both are killed in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, where are you going to go from there?
Right. Oh, they can go somewhere.
So they went
a couple places.
6 more movies. Well, 5 more in the Jigsaw series. But yeah, so to me, it's not that good of a story, but it's a good trilogy. It's a good ending to the trilogy of Jigsaw.
All right.
So it's my number 3.
Okay. My number 3 is a Spiral.
Oh,
all right.
I like Spiral. I like Chris Rock. Seeing him on screen again was cool. He didn't ruin the movie for me. His facial expressions didn't really bother me.
His bulging eyes didn't.
Go back to.
I think I did laugh in theaters when I saw that the first time. I was like, "Wow, okay, you got some wide eyes here."
Yeah, go back to listen to our review. You might understand why I mentioned that.
Yeah.
And, it was good. It was fun. And a good detective story. So, sitting there at number 3. All right, Joey. What is your... Okay, so the top 2 here is... I'm curious if you guys are going to make a bold move. So, we'll see. All right, Joey, what is your number 2?
Well, I'm not making a bold move.
Okay.
It's Saw 2.
All right.
I just can't do it. I can't. As a whole, I like Saw 2 maybe better than the original Saw, but you can like the ending of the original Saw, you can't not rank it number 1, I feel like.
Yeah.
Just for the ending, just for that purpose. But as a whole, I find the second Saw more entertaining, but the ending of the first one is worth the wait for watching that movie. Yeah. So I have to rank Saw number 2. I think it really just set the tone for, well, maybe it didn't set the tone for the rest of the series. But just the twist of, having them wait there and, you'll see your son, and then all the dialogue between Donnie Wahlberg and Tobin Bell.
Yeah.
I mean, that dialogue doesn't get any better than that for the whole series.
Yeah.
So, Saw 2, but it was close, though. I really wanted to make the change, but I sticking to that.
Okay. All right, Joel, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is going to be Saw.
Oh.
You thought I was going to add a 2 to that.
Headlines.
I did not. I absolutely love this movie. But I feel like you can't base how you feel, in my opinion, over like the last 2 minutes of a movie. And I did not like the dialogue. The acting in this movie was not good between our two main characters.
What's his name?
Wait, Carrie Elwes?
Carrie Elwes. And
you didn't like his acting?
No, he's not a good horror movie actor. Sorry. I'm gonna
wait. Are we talking about Carrie Elwes?
The Carrie Elwes, yeah. Don't remember him from Liar Liar? Come on now.
Oh, I do actually.
He did great acting in that one.
Wait, Carrie Elwes, right?
Yes, and Lee Winnell, who became a director.
Yeah,
he is definitely a better director than he is actor. I can appreciate. I really enjoy this movie. It's really good, especially for. I think this was the first movie that James Wan did. It was like a film school movie for him, and Lee Winnell. He was also the writer of it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, this was basically his like Evil Dead type of thing. Sam Raimi, like that's pretty much what I compare it to. So it's really good. I really enjoy this movie, but mostly because of the ending.
Yeah.
And I just can't base having saw it number one just because of how it ends. It's got to be the whole package to me.
Yeah.
And it does have a good story. It does have an original story. You get this new character in horror Jigsaw, and you know he's a really cool character. I really like the character on there, but there's got to be more to it than that to be my number one. And so it's I mean it's up there like for sure top two.
Yeah.
But it's I just can't do it.
Okay. All right. My number 2 is Saw 2.
Oh, the anticipation.
Like Joey said, probably the better movie than the first Saw. But sometimes there's a nostalgia piece, and I know, Joel, you don't believe in that, and you don't think that that's valid.
I believe in nostalgia. I just don't think I don't think it's fair to compare movies after what comes after that nostalgic movie just because of nostalgia. Like it's people are really like unfair to like reboots and remakes because the original meant so much to them, even though the original is not a very good movie.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not the case with this movie in particular, but I mean, nostalgia in general is not a very
it's not good enough for you.
It's not good enough to no, it's gotta
anyways, Saw 2, Donnie Wahlberg, love his acting in it. He played like the hothead cop really well. I love Jigsaw in it. He's basically just dying there, sitting there with his oxygen mask and stuff. And the dialogue, like Joey was saying,
he's been dying since Saw 2.
All the little one-liners that Jigsaw's throwing in there, like just talk with me, and he's like, I am talking with you. And he's like, but you're still not understanding, or whatever he said. And then all the traps in that house, and the twist ending was just so good, so good. Really like that movie. So, but we'll go into number 1 now. Joey,
it's the
your
OG.
number 1 is
what could it be?
It's the OG for show. No, I mean, maybe it's the nostalgia factor, I guess, but I mean, I'll admit it's the nostalgia factor, but I mean, when he comes off the floor and you realize he was there all along, it's still like you watch it, it still gives you chills and stuff. So
Yeah.
and like it's like the coolest, the coolest like reveal and stuff. But I mean, like I said with Saw 2 and stuff, I probably would enjoy Saw 2 more just from start to finish. But I don't know, that ending's too big for me. So
Yeah.
It's definitely an iconic twist for sure.
Yeah.
So question, if that ending hadn't happened, would that still be your number one movie?
I have another way of saying it though. If that ending would have never happened, would there ever been a Saw 2?
No.
There you go.
It's I mean,
so yeah, I mean,
it's basically your typical movie at that point.
Yeah, I mean,
without
you take away
that ending.
Honestly, you take away that ending, I don't think there's another Saw. Really, I mean, if it's just no surprise ending, there's never another one. So, but Saw 2, it was close though. I almost wanted to say it was a tie, but I didn't want to kind of punt like that and stuff. So
yeah,
it was close. It was close.
Yeah,
so, yeah. Saw OG number 1.
All right, and Joel, your number 1.
All right, drum roll, please. My number 1 is Saw 2.
Whoa!
Crazy. As a whole, this is by far the best in the franchise.
Yeah.
And from
by far,
not by far. Saw was definitely close.
Okay.
I had to think about like where I was going to put Saw as either 1 or 2 for quite a while. So not by far. But I couldn't do it. Saw 2 has a better story. It has the better acting. It has 2 twist endings at the end of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
One of which, with Amanda, I actually really like because the whole thing with Jigsaw is he's trying to help these people better their lives, basically, if they survive. Like if you are strong enough to survive these traps and you free yourself, then you have that quality of life to continue going on. It's a twisted way of looking at it, but with Amanda, it actually helped. She actually was probably the first one to fully realize that, oh yeah, this guy actually was making sense the entire time.
Right.
And maybe I want to help him. Like their intentions, I guess, are good to a certain extent. She's trying to help these people, but then she just goes rogue in Saw 3 and just, but as like a protege to Jigsaw, she's wanting to help these people the way that Jigsaw helped her realize that, there's more in life to keep fighting for. Mm-hmm. The twist ending in Saw 1 is better, but the twist in Saw 2 is up there too.
Yeah.
It's almost tied with the ending in Saw 1.
Yeah.
But with Saw 2, it's kind of like you expect a twist at this point.
Yeah.
Like there has to be something
going
on at the end for this one to even compete with Saw 1.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the downfall of Saw, honestly. As awesome as an ending as that was, now that you have to have some sort of crazy twist ending in every single one of your movies.
Yeah.
And, it helped that movie continue on in the franchise because of that twist, but at the same time, it kind of hurt the franchise as a whole because you have to somehow come up with some crazy over the top ending to get people leaving the theater like thinking, wow, that was a really crazy ending.
Yeah.
Which they have not successfully been able to do past this one, really. Like for the most part, like
Saw 2.
The crazy twist endings kind of stopped at Saw 2. And we just got some like mediocre twists throughout the series.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just, the acting is far superior to Saw 1.
Yeah.
With Donnie Wahlberg and Jigsaw, like they're back and forth, like you guys were saying. And I liked how the the traps that they were all going through, like they were linked together. Like what we were talking about with Saw 5, like those characters were linked, but we didn't care about what they were linked to. With this one, they were linked to Donnie Wahlberg.
Right.
And having his son in the middle of all of that kind of added to the suspense. Like, oh, what if they find out that he's the son of, the man that put you all away?
Yeah.
It added a layer of intensity there because of that.
Yeah.
And and I really love this movie.
Okay.
So it's really good.
All right. My number 1 is the original. I was going back and forth between the two, and that's why I was like, I know someone's gonna do it. And but I couldn't, because it's an original. The whole idea is brand new. So when you go into sequels, whether you're talking about any franchise, the idea is already there. So you already kind of have somewhat of a formula going into the sequels, where the first movie it's original, the idea is original, it's the, beginning of a villain, it's the crazy twist, still my favorite twist of all time. And it's grounded. The original, I like grounded horror movies, and the original is the most grounded for sure. I like the just two people trying to figure out how to get out of this room. This is kind of what began the whole escape room craze too. It's just hard to not put it at number 1. The acting isn't great, but the story, the suspense, Jigsaw, learning about him, and then the twist is just, it's good enough to be number 1. A lot of franchises, the original is going to be number 1, and sometimes it's just like, you just have to put it at number 1 because it's the original. But I don't know. I feel like that's the case here, but at the same time, I feel like I can really justify it. So that twist, man,
It'll get you.
It like brought tears to my eyes when I saw it in theaters.
Wow.
I
You were a very emotional 17-year-old.
I was bawling.
And a horror icon was born.
Yes. That's what's weird about me. Like, I won't like tear up really to like sad things in movies. It'll be more so like these shocking, like shocking twists will be like, oh man, like that just like really got me,
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. It's beautiful. So yeah, there it is, number 1. Our lists were somewhat similar.
Yeah.
So, Saw's, it's a franchise, and
it is a franchise.
And, we'll probably get more. And yeah, so we'll see. We might have to rank it again at some point.
Yeah.
If we keep going. Okay. You guys got any?
Those will get kind of boring after a while, because the only thing that's going to change is where we put this new movie.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm going to rewatch all these movies again.
Yeah. If there's like 5 more or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe 4 more.
3. Well.
All right. You guys got anything else to add?
I think we covered everything. I mean, we had a whole podcast series on all these movies, so all of our information is.
I have a brief question. If there's another Saw, where do you think the franchise will go?
I think they're just going to continue with the whole police corruption angle. I think that they've set that up to be like the next storyline.
Mm-hmm.
So if they go in some other direction, then it's like, okay. I mean, you got already gone too far, but if you're trying to do something else after this, I might not even watch it.
Some other social issue.
That'll be way too much. And yeah.
I mean, we already know who the killer is, so it's like, what's the next twist going to be? Like I was saying, you have to have a twist in all of these movies, so it's like, what are you going to do after you find out who the killer is? Like,
yeah.
Maybe this detective is actually a disciple of Jigsaw.
Oh, man.
We just don't know yet. Another one.
Oh, man.
It gets to the point where it's like Jigsaw isn't even really that amazing. You know, he had all these people working for him and doing all this dirty work.
He's had so many like proteges and apprentices.
Copycat.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, Jigsaw, you weren't doing much. You just came up with the idea.
Yeah. Well, the idea sparked a franchise. So.
Yeah. Okay. So we are done with Saw. That is our third franchise we finished.
Yep.
We did Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Saw. Coming up next will be The Conjuring. There's only a few of those.
There's only 3 of those. Well, 2 right now, but there will be 3.
Yeah.
So what's our next like big franchise? Oh, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I think.
Oh, that's a good one.
It'll be a pretty big one.
Yeah. The Purge.
They're 5 deep in that one right now.
Yeah. But yeah, I think those are the big 2.
And then we'll be ending the year with Scream.
Yeah.
With the Scream series for Scream 5 in January.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, look out for those. We'll throw some other ones in the mix as well. We got Candyman coming out.
Oh yeah.
We got Don't Breathe 2 coming out. Yeah. Quiet Place 2. Yep.
Yeah.
Halloween.
Yeah. That was the first movie that was supposed to come out last year that didn't because of the pandemic.
Yeah, thanks, COVID.
Yeah. Okay. That is it. This has been
Sleep tight.
I was like, who's gonna
all right.
finish up?
Let's try this again. All right. This has been Scare Talk.
Sleep tight.
Don't let Jigsaw bite.
Oh man.